Operation Chaos, a deep dive into the CIA's controversial surveillance initiative. Introduction. Operation Chaos was a covert action program initiated by the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, during one of the most politically charged eras in U.S. history, spanning from the mid-1960s through the early 1970s. This operation, originally intended to counteract anti-war sentiment during the Vietnam era, ultimately became a powerful example of the entanglement between national security and civil liberties. It sparked significant controversy due to its broad surveillance measures and covert methods, bringing to light questions about privacy and government overreach. Here, we'll unpack the objectives, methods, and impact of Operation Chaos on the United States intelligence and surveillance practices. Background and objectives of Operation Chaos. The emergence of anti-war protests and civil rights movements in the 1960s fueled a powerful undercurrent of dissent in America. In response to these widespread social changes, the CIA launched Operation Chaos, aiming to monitor, disrupt, and even manipulate movements critical of U.S. government policies. Key groups targeted included Students for a Democratic Society, SDS, and the Black Panther Party. Organizations considered influential and, in some cases, potentially threatening to the status quo. The operation's core objectives included: 1. Monitoring activist groups. A priority of Operation Chaos was to gather intelligence on domestic and international organizations critical of U.S. policies. Through deep surveillance, the CIA hoped to gain insights into the motivations and operations of groups opposing the Vietnam War and other government policies. 2. Disruption of movements. In addition to surveillance, the CIA sought to introduce conflict within these organizations, aiming to weaken them through psychological means. By planting misinformation and encouraging division, the agency hoped to hinder activists' efforts from within. 3. Influencing public perception. Operation Chaos also included efforts to control the narrative in the media by discrediting anti-war activists and organizations. This tactic sought to sway public opinion against protest groups, thus neutralizing their influence on the American public. Methods used in Operation Chaos. To fulfill these objectives, the CIA employed a range of methods, many of which later attracted intense scrutiny for their ethical implications. The primary methods included: 1. Surveillance and infiltration. The CIA extensively monitored communication lines, intercepting messages and employing informants to stay one step ahead of activist strategies. Surveillance extended to wiretapping, intercepting mail, and assigning agents to observe individuals and group activities closely. 2. Psychological operations. The CIA was reportedly involved in leaking false information and creating deceptive stories meant to portray protesters as extreme or dangerous. This approach aimed to undermine activists' legitimacy and discourage public support. 3. Collaboration with other agencies. Operation Chaos was not conducted in isolation. Rather, the CIA worked closely with the FBI, which ran its own surveillance and counterintelligence efforts, such as the infamous COINTELPRO. This interagency collaboration blurred the lines of responsibility and accountability, amplifying the operation's overall reach and reinforcing government presence in civilian matters. Impact and controversy surrounding Operation Chaos. Operation Chaos left a profound mark on American society and sparked intense controversy regarding privacy and civil rights. It raised several ethical concerns, notably about the power of federal agencies to surveil citizens in the name of national security. Key impacts of the operation included: 1. Erosion of public trust. When Operation Chaos came to light in the 1970s, public backlash was swift and substantial. Many Americans were disturbed to learn that the CIA, a body traditionally focused on foreign intelligence, had conducted operations targeting U.S. citizens. This revelation contributed to a deepening mistrust of the federal government, especially the intelligence community, whose activities were increasingly seen as intrusive and overreaching. 2. Push for legislative reforms. The operation, along with other instances of intelligence overreach, was a catalyst for significant legislative changes. The Church Committee hearings in the mid-1970s exposed details of various intelligence abuses, leading Congress to establish oversight mechanisms to regulate CIA and FBI activities. These reforms included the creation of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, aimed at preventing future overreach and safeguarding civil liberties. 3. Legacy and lessons for future operations. Operation Chaos remains a critical reference in debates about intelligence ethics and the balance between national security and privacy. It underscored the need for transparent oversight and set the stage for ongoing discussions about governmental authority and personal privacy. Conclusion. Operation Chaos serves as a complex and cautionary tale within the history of U.S. intelligence operations. It illustrates how quickly national security concerns can clash with civil liberties, especially in times of political unrest. Today, Operation Chaos stands as a historical example of the perils of unchecked surveillance, reminding us of the need to balance security and freedom. As society grapples with modern surveillance technology and national security challenges, the lessons from Operation Chaos continue to resonate, emphasizing the importance of vigilance in protecting democratic values and the rights of individuals.